Have you ever walked into a room you've never seen before, yet felt a crushing sense of familiarity, as if the very walls held memories of a life you don't remember living? What if I told you that this isn't just a trick of the brain, but a whisper from a previous version of yourself, one of 7 distinct chapters in a singular, eternal journey? We often think of life as a linear path, a single shot at existence that ends in silence. But across the greatest civilizations in history, a different law has been whispered: the law of 7. The 7 lives, one soul theory suggests that your consciousness isn't a random accident, but a structured progression designed to exhaust your karmic debt and refine the very essence of who you are. Today, we are peeling back the veil on the mechanical, historical, and empirical foundations of this septenary cycle to understand how your soul moves across time. Reincarnation is often defined as the process by which an eternal essence, the Atman or Jiva, survives the death of the body to inhabit a new vessel. But why 7? Why is this specific number carved into the heart of our spiritual evolution across almost every culture on Earth? In the deep traditions of Theravada Buddhism, it is said that once a person reaches the stage of a stream enterer, they are guaranteed to reach total liberation within a maximum of 7 further rebirths. This numerical limit represents the final exhaustion of mundane right view, the moment the soul finally graduates from the difficult curriculum of the material plane. Just as our physical bodies undergo a complete cellular renewal every 7 to 10 years, this vertical logic suggests our spiritual body undergoes a similar renewal across 7 lifetimes. This isn't just a philosophy, it's a cosmic framework mirroring the lunar cycles and the 7 visible planets that have traditionally governed the rhythms of birth and death on our planet. The roots of this theory reach deep into the Indus Valley and the Ganges plains of ancient India, appearing in the late Vedic period between 1100 and 500 BCE. The Rig Veda and the early Upanishads introduced a revolutionary idea. The afterlife wasn't a static heaven or hell, but a proportional response to your earthly conduct, a concept we now call karma. These ancient sages argued that it would be fundamentally unfair for individuals with varying degrees of virtue to share the exact same eternal fate. Instead, the cycle of samsara was proposed as a mechanism for moral balancing, allowing the soul to experience the consequences of its choices over multiple lives. In parallel, the ancient Egyptians viewed the soul as a complex composite of 9 distinct parts, including the ka, or vital essence, and the ba, which represented the personality. Their journey involved a transition into another plane, where, if justified by the gods, the soul would live forever in a paradise that was a perfect mirror of their earthly life. While Egyptians focused on the eternal, their rituals were designed to preserve the Ren, or the name, to ensure the soul's ability to return and visit the places it loved. If we are moving through 7 lives, we have to ask, who is actually doing the traveling? Ancient philosophies suggest the self is not a singular unit, but a layered architecture of spirit and matter. The Egyptians called the physical form the Khat, which had to remain intact for the soul to have a chance to be judged in the underworld. Next is the Ba, the personality that can travel between realms, and the Shuyet, the shadow that lingers near the body after death. Then we have the higher faculties, the Manas, or intelligence, the Buddhi, the spiritual soul, and finally, the Atma, the divine, eternal spirit that is a spark of the absolute. This structure explains how memories and personality traits carry over. While the physical body is shed like an old garment, the Atma carries the samskaras, the deep impressions of your past. In the Egyptian view, the Ren, or your name, was so vital that destroying it was considered a second death, erasing your soul's very barcode from the universe. The how of this transition is perhaps most vividly described in the Bardo Thodol, popularly known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It details a 49-day intermission between death and rebirth, structured as 7 weeks of 7 days, a final septenary test for the consciousness. In the first Bardo, the dying person experiences a dissolution of the senses. Vision blurs like a mirage, hearing fades into smoke, and smell dissolves into sparks. At this critical moment, the clear light of the void appears, a light as bright as 1,000 suns and as loud as 1,000 thunders. If you can recognize this light as your own true nature and seize it, you achieve immediate liberation and exit the cycle of rebirth forever. For most, however, the second Bardo begins, where the soul encounters visions of beautiful deities, projections of its own pure consciousness and positive karma. But by the 8th day, these shift into wrathful deities, terrifying animal-headed monsters that represent your own negative emotions like anger and greed. Finally, in the third Bardo, the soul is drawn by a thirst for sensation towards 6 colored lights, each representing a realm of rebirth. While these ancient texts are fascinating, does modern science have anything to say about the soul's return? Since 1961, researchers at the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies have documented over 2,500 cases of children who remember past lives. The patterns they found are statistically staggering. Most children begin talking about their other life between the ages of 2 and 3. Crucially, these memories almost always fade by the age of 7, the exact point where the first 7-year biological cycle of the brain concludes. Consider the case of James Leininger, an American boy who, at 22 months old, began having violent nightmares about a plane crash. James provided specific details. His plane was a Corsair. He flew off a boat named Natoma, and his friend was a man named Jack Larson. His father eventually identified a World War II pilot, James Houston Jr., who was the only pilot from the USS Natoma Bay killed at Iwo Jima, exactly as the boy described.
Then there is Shanti Devi in India, who at age 4 correctly identified her previous home in Mathura and even the location of buried money. Shanti Devi provided detailed descriptions of the intermission state, mentioning a dazzling light and a life review that mirrors the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This vertical logic suggests that the 7 lives aren't just random, but part of a massive 35-step evolutionary ladder. According to this framework, the soul progresses through 5 major stages of development: infant, baby, young, mature, and old. Each of these stages contains 7 distinct levels, resulting in a curriculum that often takes well over 100 lifetimes to complete. The 7 lives theory likely refers to these final 7 steps of the old soul stage, the final stretch before the soul reaches completion. Infant souls focus on survival, baby souls on structure and law, young souls on power and achievement. Mature souls focus on emotional depth and relationships, while old souls, having seen it all, are drawn to spirituality and detachment. This is why some people feel full or complete, even as children. They aren't here to chase status or possessions, but to finish their final turn of the wheel. But how does this information survive the death of the brain? The answer might lie in the strange world of quantum mechanics. Researchers like Jim Tucker suggest that consciousness may be a fundamental property of the universe, rather than a byproduct of our biology. Think of the mind as a form of quantum information, like software that isn't destroyed just because the hardware breaks.
This data, your memories, fears, and skills, may be stored in a non-local state, separating from the body at death and reattaching to a new developing brain. This reattachment is often triggered by quantum entanglement with a specific family or location, especially when the emotional charge of a previous life was high. James Leininger and other children often describe falling through a hole into their new life, a description that mirrors the porthole effect of quantum tunneling. The theory of 7 lives, 1 soul is the bridge between ancient spiritual intuition and modern forensic investigation. Whether interpreted as the final 7 rebirths of an enlightened being or the 7-year cycles that govern our biological renewal, the number 7 remains the signature of our architecture. The research from the University of Virginia reminds us that we are likely not accidents of biology, but travelers across time. The stories of Shanti Devi and James Leininger suggest that our memories are not always our own, but are sometimes the echoes of a previous turn of the wheel. As we move through our septenary phases, we gather the wisdom necessary to eventually exit the cycle and return to the source of pure consciousness. Every life is a lesson, and every death is a graduation. So tell me in the comments, have you ever had a memory that didn't feel like your own, or a dream that felt too real to be just a dream? If you're curious to dive deeper into the mysteries of the mind and the cosmos, explore our other videos on the hidden mechanics of existence. The journey has only just begun.